You've heard the story of Medusa, right? The snake-haired monster slain by a hero. But here's the part they always leave out. She wasn't alone. She had sisters, Stheno and Euryale, and their story is one of a loyalty so fierce mythology simply chose to forget it. When we picture Medusa, she's always isolated, a lone figure in her stony lair. But that's not the truth. When Medusa was cursed by Athena, transformed into the monster we know, her sisters faced a choice. Unlike Medusa, who was made mortal by the curse, Stheno and Euryale were born immortal. They couldn't die. They were not bound to her fate. They could have walked away from the horror, the shame, and the isolation. They could have saved themselves. But they didn't. They stayed. In a world of myths that glorify heroes and grand quests, their quiet act of devotion was simply erased. Stheno and Euryale willingly entered Medusa's exile. They chose to share her prison, her loneliness, and the world's terror. Their transformation into monsters wasn't a punishment for a crime. It was a consequence of their refusal to abandon their sister. They weren't guarding a dangerous beast. They were protecting a vulnerable victim. Their so-called monstrosity wasn't an act of violence, but an act of profound solidarity. They became her shield when the world turned against her. But loyalty, in this story, doesn't lead to a happy ending. Medusa is eventually killed by Perseus. Her sisters, being immortal, are not. And perhaps that's the cruelest part of their tale. Stheno and Euryale are left to live forever, haunted by the memory of the sister they couldn't save. Their immortality becomes an endless sentence, forced to be eternal witnesses to a world that celebrated Medusa's killer and completely ignored their sacrifice. There was no justice for them, only endless grief. So why did their story just vanish? Myths love a clear-cut hero who slays a monster. Stheno and Euryale complicate that simple narrative. Their presence turns Medusa from a one-dimensional villain into a beloved sister, part of a family bound by love and choice. They expose the injustice of her fate, and when loyalty challenges the neat stories of power and victory, mythology often just looks the other way. In the end, Medusa was twisted into a warning against female power. Her sisters were simply silenced. But their real legacy, the one that was buried, is a powerful truth. In a world full of violence and betrayal, sometimes the most radical, most courageous act isn't seeking revenge. It's refusing to leave your own behind. Stheno and Euryale weren't monsters. They were sisters who chose love in a world that couldn't understand it. And that forgotten story of loyalty is a myth worth remembering. Thanks for watching. If this story moved you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more hidden histories.